Guys, do subscribe the Gate Hunt and press the bell icon to receive notifications on latest jobs updates, Gate talks and video lectures on Gate and IES. Hello guys, so welcome to the 6th lecture of ICT for General Studies for IES. So guys, till now we have discussed three types of networks, that is LAN, MAN and WAN. So in today's lecture we will start our discussion with internet. So guys, internet stands for internetwork, and moreover it can be defined as a collection of interconnected networks. For example, in the designing of WAN, we studied that WAN is a combination of LAN, LAN, etc. So in the same way, by combining multiple LANs and multiple WANs or multiple MANs, internet can be formed. Guys, internet was first of all introduced in 1980s by Cerf and Khan, and it was designed by Department of Defense US. Moving on, let's discuss the evolution of internet. So the first ever designed internet was named as ARPANET, which stands for Advanced Research Project Agency Network, and the second designed internet was Milnet, which stands for Military Network, and the third designed internet was NSFNet, which stands for National Scientific Federation Network, and then in the fourth stage it was named as CSNet, which stands for Computer Science Network, and then in 1980s it was finally named as Internet. So guys, till now we have discussed that what do you mean by network, what is the block diagram of a network, how can we say that a particular network is effective or not, various types of networks and various types of topology. So now let us discuss various network transmission modes. So what does this transmission mode define? This transmission mode means that how the sender and receiver are communicating in a network. So there are three types of transmission modes in a network, which are simplex transmission mode, half duplex transmission mode, and full duplex transmission mode, which is also known as simply a duplex transmission mode. Guys, now let's talk about the simplex transmission mode. Guys, let us assume that there is a sender node and then there is a receiver node. And this purple colored vessel shows the communicating medium or channel. So what happens in simplex transmission mode? In a simplex transmission mode, a sender sends the data to the receiver, and in reply there is no transmission from receiver at all. It just keeps on receiving data sent by the sender. So we can say that in the simplex transmission mode, there is only one-way transmission. For example, keyboard and monitor interactions. So as we know that in keyboard and monitor interaction, from keyboard whatever key we press, it gets printed on monitor screen. But monitor screen does not give any acknowledgement to the keyboard like I have received your message or something like that. So it can be termed as a simplex transmission mode. Guys, moving on, let's talk about half duplex transmission mode. So imagine that this is the sender node, whereas this is the receiver node. And let's say that this is our communicating medium. So in a half duplex transmission mode, when sender sends any data transmission to receiver, then there is an acknowledgement or reply sent by the receiver to the sender. So we can say that in a half duplex data transmission mode, bidirectional data transmission takes place, but not at a time. That means that when sender is sending data to the receiver, at that time receiver is not sending anything to the sender. It can send reply to the sender only when sender is not sending anything to the receiver. So one example of this half duplex type of transmission mode is walkie-talkie. Guys, moving on, let's talk about full duplex transmission mode. So imagine that this is the sender node and this is the receiver node and this is the communicating medium. So in a full duplex transmission mode, when sender sends data to receiver, then at the same time receiver can also send reply or acknowledgement to the sender. So we can say that in a full duplex transmission mode, bidirectional data transmission takes place and we can have both transmissions at a time. So one example of this full duplex transmission mode is telephonic conversation. Guys, moving on, let's talk about different types of connecting devices. Guys, we studied about these connecting devices in star and tree topology. So let us discuss in more detail about types of connecting device. So when do we need connecting device? Imagine case first that this is node 1 and this is node 2, whereas case second that this is node 1 and this is node 2. So we need a connecting device in case 2, because here the message has to travel a longer path. So we need to place a connecting device so that it can regenerate the signal. Guys, moving on, two types of connecting devices are networking devices and internetworking devices. So networking devices are the devices which are functioned within a network. Examples are repeater, hub, and switch. And talking about the internetworking devices, these are the devices which are functioned between two or more networks. Examples are bridge, router, gateway, and routers. Now we will talk more about these two types of connecting devices. Guys, let us see the functionality of each of these networking and internetworking devices. So first of all, let us see the functionality of repeater. So repeater is a networking device. This device connects two segments of a network, and this device is functioned in physical layer of OSI reference model. What does this physical layer and OSI reference model means, that I will talk in next lecture. And the fourth point of a repeater is it regenerates the signal. So for example, this is the sender node and this is the repeater node, and the sender is willing to send the data to the receiver node. So what does this repeater does? It acts as an intermediate receiver which receives the data sent by the sender and then regenerates it so that it can be forwarded to the receiver. So it is not an amplifier. That means it doesn't amplify the signal. It just acts as an intermediate receiver which receives the data and sends it to the receiver. Guys, moving on, let's talk about the hub. So hub is again a networking device. This device is functioned in physical layer of OSI reference model, and again it connects two segments of a network. For example, let us consider a network having two segments, each segment having three systems. So this is segment 1 and this is segment 2. So the function of hub is to connect these two segments. So let us consider that there is a hub placed between these two segments. So all these systems are connected to the hub individually. That means that the first system is connected to the first port in the hub, second system is connected to the second port in the hub, and the third system is connected to the third port in the hub. Similarly, fourth system is connected to the fourth port in the hub, fifth system is connected to the fifth port in the hub, and the sixth system is connected to sixth port in the hub. So how does data transmission takes place when we have used the hub in our network? So let us consider that this system 1 is acting as the sender node and it is willing to send data to system 4, which is acting as a receiver node. So this data will be moving from system 1 in this way to port 1, from where it transmits the data to port 4, port 5 and port 6, that is to all the ports which exist on the destination segment. So from here we can conclude that A hub accepts the data via one port and forwards it not only to the destination port but also to all the ports which exist on destination segment. So in other words, we can say that the hub broadcasts the data, because that is what we have studied about the broadcast type of channels. So this is the functionality of a hub. But with this functionality, we have a drawback. Guys, whenever we are sending a data, it should be confidential. That is, if it is sent to node 4, then it should reach only node 4. But here it is being received by node 4, node 5 and node 6. So the main drawback of using a hub in a network is that there is no provision of security. Guys, moving on, let us talk about switch. So switch removed this drawback of a hub, that is, it provided a provision of security. So now by using switch, the data is transferred to only that node to which it is meant to be delivered. So the main characteristics of a switch are that it is a networking device, it is functioned in physical layer of OSI reference model, and this device connects two segments of a network. So talking about the pictorial representation of how a switch can be used in a network, let us assume a network having two segments with each segment having three systems. Guys, let us assume that this is the switch provided between these two segments. So now all these systems are connected to the switch with the means of port. That is, the first system is connected to the first port, second one is connected to the second port, and the third one is connected to the third port. Similarly, fourth system is connected to the fourth port, fifth system is connected to the fifth port, and the sixth system is connected to the sixth port. So guys, talking about the data transmission which happens on using switch in a network, if I consider that this is the sender node and this is the receiver node, then the data transmits first of all from the sender node to port 1, and then it gets transferred to port 4, and then it reaches the system 4. So from here we can conclude that a switch accepts the data from one port and forwards the data only to the destination port. In other words, we can say that switch is used for unicasting. So alright guys, that's it for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will start our discussion with other connecting devices, that is about bridge, router, gateway and router. Guys, please do leave a comment that how much did you like this lecture, and please do like this video. Guys, do hit the like button and do subscribe the Gate Hunt and press the bell icon to receive notifications on latest jobs updates, Gate talks and video lectures on Gate and IES.